Clinically Speaking is our advisor series of short videos featuring clinical updates from vitality clinicians and experts in their fields.
Welcome to Clinically Speaking. In this episode, we will be exploring the psychological impact of menopause. We will be speaking to Kathy Abernathy and Linda Gillham, both from Peppy, our partner for menopause support services. Those of us who have experienced menopause or perimenopause know that it represents a big change in any individual's life, both physically and mentally. And it can affect people in many different ways. Some experience brain fog, impaired memory, and even anxiety and depression, to name just a few. All of these can have an impact on our performance at work. And this can lead to a number of psychological challenges, such as negative thoughts around our identity and questions about our future, all of which we will explore.
Most of us can identify the physical symptoms of the menopause, things like flushes and sweats. We all know they're associated with menopause, and 3/4 of people do experience those. But the more emotional or psychological symptoms can be harder to identify, particularly because they often start before you see any changes in your periods at all. What kind of symptoms? Things like low mood, memory issues, concentration problems, mood things like irritability, and then the brain fog, the dreaded brain fog which people describe, which is where you lose clarity of thought and it's really difficult to do the tasks that you're wanting to do. This can lead to an undermining of your own confidence, and that can lead to even more anxiety. And some people find that they have new anxieties as they get to the menopause. Things that they've been very confident doing before suddenly become a challenge. It could be driving on motorways, it could be travelling by tube. All of these things can really interfere with your daily life.
So some of the psychological effects of menopause have a real effect on our identity, on who we are. Often you'll hear people say, I just want to feel like I used to. And although that is, possible in some ways, this is actually much more of a bigger picture here. This is an existential piece of us changing. We're aging, our bodies are changing, our brains are changing. So it's really important to work on, who do you want to be next? Rather than who did you used to be. So we go through this change and then we're leading towards being somebody else. And that doesn't always have to be negative. We think, we're getting older, we're aging, we can't do things like we used to. But there's also a wealth of opportunities about what we could learn to do next, the types of different exercise that we can do and the things that we enjoy. One of the main ones is cognitive behavioural therapy, often known as CBT. And this can be really beneficial for symptoms, including anxiety, low mood, brain fog, and even if you're experiencing negative thoughts. There are also other types of therapies that you can try. You can try talking therapies. You could meet with a therapist to work out, what's going on for you. You could have up to 6 sessions, which may help with your symptoms. There are also mindfulness techniques and meditation, including guided visualizations, that you can engage with. And these work in the way that they bring you very much back into the here and now, so that you feel more grounded, rather than living a little bit more in the future where anxiety is, or ruminating over the past, which can induce low mood. So I think this is the time of life when we really do need to start to take care of ourselves, and we do need to put time aside to look after ourselves, whether this is taking some time out to do mindfulness or meditation techniques, whether it's learning new ways of coping with our new ways of being, but really focusing on, our general well-being. So, having a regular sleep routine, taking time out for yourself. But for me, one of the most important tips at this time is the ability to say no, is to put those boundaries in, and to learn how to be more assertive and to know your limits. So if people are asking you to do many different things, that you're able to prioritise and at times to put yourself first.
It's important to remember that estrogen affects all parts of our body, and it may be that the brain is affected as much as other parts too. Our well-being, physical and emotional, mental factors will all be contributed to by the change in hormones, but also by life events, things that are going alongside the stresses that we might have, whether that's at home, at work, or in the family. So we have to look after our health, not just from a hormonal perspective, but we need to think much more broadly about our general well-being at this time as well. The physical changes, though, will influence the psychological. And it may be that when the estrogen isn't activating the hypothalamus, for example, that's when our temperature control goes a bit awry and we start to get the flushes and the sweats. When it doesn't activate the part of the brain which causes sleep and is in charge of sleep disruption, then we get insomnia, we get sleep problems. And sometimes it might be the memory center. It may be that the neurons are not activating as fast as they did, and so we get memory issues, low mood, and sometimes irritability. So at the same time as experiencing these menopause symptoms, you're also probably trying to look after your health for the future. We know that for most of us, menopause happens around midlife. What a great opportunity to start improving our health for the future. It could be as simple as looking at your diet and making sure that you're having a healthy, balanced diet, but also moving a bit more, doing some exercise which you enjoy, simple things like walking. Maybe you enjoy Pilates, maybe you're a person that enjoys swimming, for example. Take the things that you enjoy and just do more of them to improve your health for the future. When you're working your way through the menopause, which are over 60% of people will be doing, those symptoms can have a real impact on you. It may be the memory issues, it may be concentration, maybe the temperature that you're working in needs to be adjusted. That conversation can be quite hard to have if it's not one which is already readily available in your workplace. So I'd encourage those of you who are managers or in a place of employment to really get the conversation going around menopause, so that not only does it become easy to talk about, but actually pathways and resources can be put in place to support those people who need sometimes quite small changes, but they need their manager's support to put them in place. It may be something as simple as a fan on the desk. It may be reasonable adjustments with working hours. It may be more complicated than that. But unless they can talk to their manager in the first place, it's going to be really difficult to address.